everyone. I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from around the country. Well, fresh off his visit to the United States, in which Pope Francis told Congress that he backs U.S. efforts to abolish the death penalty, news came of U.S. Nuncio Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano's letters to authorities in 2 states appealing on the Pope's behalf to commute death sentences. On September 29th, the Archbishop unsuccessfully appealed on the Pope's behalf to Georgia officials to commute the death sentence of Kelly Gissendaner, who was executed shortly after midnight the next day. In mid-September, on the Pope's behalf, the nuncio wrote a letter to Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin to commute the sentence of Richard Glossop, who was scheduled to be executed on September 30th. The governor did issue a last-minute stay because of confusion over Oklahoma's supply of lethal injection drugs. Her action was followed by a statement from the state's attorney general asking that 3 scheduled executions in the state be stayed indefinitely. In both letters, Archbishop Vigano said that he did not wish to minimize the gravity of the crimes for which the 2 were convicted and that he sympathized with the victims, but nonetheless, he said he implored them to commute the sentence to one that would better express both justice and mercy. In news from the Vatican, Pope Francis's message for the 2016 World Day of Migrants and Refugees has been released. It will be celebrated January 17th in most countries. In the United States, National Migration Week will be celebrated January 4th through the 9th. Rome Reports has more.
Massive immigration is a reality that's on the rise. Every day, refugees from the Middle East are trying to make their way to Europe. It's an international challenge that's seen in other borders as well, from the Americas to Asia. With this ongoing crisis, the Vatican announced the Pope's message for the next World Day of Migrants. It's titled Migrants and Refugees Challenge Us, the response of the Gospel of Mercy.
If we start arguing about it, nothing will get done. We need to start talking about the issue with our hearts and with mercy. This is what the Pope wants to highlight, precisely during the Year of Mercy.
Cardinal Viglio is the president of the Vatican's Pontifical Council for Migrants and Refugees. He recognizes that there are no simple solutions to this crisis, especially when it's triggered by war, conflict, and persecution. However, concrete answers are needed. A perfect example, he says, is the Pope's call to have Catholic parishes house refugees. It's a call the Vatican has also answered by housing 2 refugee families.
Ogni parrocchia, ogni comunità religiosa, ogni monastero, ogni santuario d'Europa ospiti una famiglia.
In the first half of 2015, an estimated 170,000 refugees petitioned for asylum in Germany. In Hungary, more than 65,000, and in Sweden, close to 29,000. It's an issue that's very dear to the Pope. He himself is the son of Italian immigrants. In his speeches at home and abroad, he has called on government leaders to do their part in easing the crisis and in dealing with the reality of the situation.
A few years back, if 50,000 immigrants arrived in Italy, it was considered a lot. This year, in Italy alone, more than 150,000 immigrants have arrived, and that's just in Italy. In Europe, an estimated 600,000 people made it to the continent, and we still have 3 more months left in the year.
The World Day of Migrants and Refugees will take place on January 17, 2016, just over a month after the Pope launches the Jubilee Year of Mercy.
Looking at news from around the country, Archbishop Robert Gonzalez Nieves of San Juan, Puerto Rico, met with congressional leaders and White House staffers to push for a resolution to the island's debt crisis. The crisis had led to school closings, cuts in social services and health care. There have also been job layoffs and reductions in employee benefits as Puerto Rico struggles to pay the $72 billion in debt the U.S. territory holds. Archbishop Gonzalez said that already approximately 50% of the population is living under the poverty level. The Archbishop said those he met promised to do more research and to become better informed. In the Washington meetings, Archbishop Gonzalez said he called for legislation that would allow Puerto Rico to enter bankruptcy or to secure low-interest loans or emergency financing from the International Monetary Fund. And finally in the news, a recent survey commissioned by Holy Cross Family Ministries has found that Hispanics now make up a solid majority of Catholic families where their parents are ages 25 to 45. The survey also found that more than 2/3 of families do not enroll their children in faith formation programs, such as sending them to Catholic schools or a parish religious education program. Father Willie Raymond, president of Holy Cross Family Ministries, said that a lack of faith formation in families does not bode well for the future. Other results from the survey found that 76% of young Catholics pray, but they prefer to pray individually. Only 7% say they prefer to pray as a family. The survey also found that 58% said they don't watch any religious programming on television. 47% of Catholic parents were unaware of Catholic media, and 30% were indifferent to it. However, when asked where they look for Catholic information and resources, the top places they go to is the parish bulletin. The survey was conducted by the Center for Applied Research in the Apostolate at Georgetown University. Father Raymond said Holy Cross Family Ministries is sharing the survey findings with the heads of U.S. dioceses and eparchies. The organization is developing a strategic plan aiming for a rollout in January. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.